I've since had to rely on charity because the FBI stopped paying me, and there's no other way for me to make a living. You're really stuck between a rock and a hard place because on one hand, we want to try to get our jobs back because we are trying to do our patriotic duty, but on the other hand, we still have families to take care for. It's essentially a death sentence in the modern era.
That is FBI whistleblower Garrett O'Boyle, testifying on how life has been upended for him after speaking out against FBI abuses and misconduct during a House Judiciary Committee hearing on Thursday. The committee revealing that FBI employees who became whistleblowers against the, quote, politicized rot within FBI leadership had their security clearance revoked or suspended, effectively leaving the agents on unpaid leave. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer was with me last week, and he told us this, that the White House is also intimidating these whistleblowers for speaking out.
Honestly, Maria, they fear for their lives. Not only are the Biden lawyers and the Biden White House intimidating them, the media is trying to intimidate and discredit them.
In a statement, the FBI claims it, quote, has not and will not retaliate against individuals who make protected whistleblower disclosures. Joining me right now with more is House Judiciary Committee Chairman, Congressman Jim Jordan. Mr. Chairman, thanks very much for being here this morning.
You bet, Maria. Good to be with you.
What is going on with these whistleblowers? Tell us your takeaways from your committee hearing last week.
Well, I think the big takeaway is, Maria, think about what we learned this week. The Durham report comes out and tells us that the FBI had no probable cause, no predicate, no evidence whatsoever, and yet they launch into an investigation of President Trump and his campaign. I think the Durham report's best line was, failed in their fundamental mission of fidelity to the law. They didn't follow the law. Then we learned from Fox reporting and other outlets reporting that 278,000 times the FBI abused Americans' rights who were simply exercising their First Amendment liberties and searched the FISA database. And then, of course, we had these whistleblowers who tell us about the retaliation they are getting from the FBI for simply telling Congress, which is what they're supposed to do as whistleblowers, telling Congress that the wrongdoing that was going on, telling Congress about parents being targeted for going to school board meetings, telling Congress about pro-lifers being targeted for simply praying at an abortion clinic, or telling Congress about the memo that said if you're a Catholic attending Mass, you could also be surveilled by the FBI. And for all that, they have the full wrath of the FBI come down on them. And as Garrett O'Boyle said, they're attempting to crush them and chill any other whistleblowers from coming forward and telling us about the wrongdoing going on in the Justice Department.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do about it? We just spoke with Kevin McCarthy about his call with Christopher Wray. It is what it is. Wray is still running the FBI. You've said you want to use the appropriations process to fix this. How will that fix things?
Well, I mean, in the end, money always gets people's attention. And so what we're going to have to do is say, hey, FBI, you can't use federal tax dollars. You can't use the American tax dollars for this kind of activity. We got to limit how they spend the money, maybe even limit the money. Here's a great example. They want millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars in their construction budget for a new facility. No way. No way should we approve that. That should be a given. No way we're going to give you money for that. So we have to use the appropriation process. That's the power that the founders wanted the legislative branch, and in particular the House, where constitutionally every spending bill, every tax bill has to originate in the House. They wanted that body, which stands for election every 2 years, to be the body closest to the people deciding how we spend the money. So we have to exercise our authority, the power of the purse, to limit what the federal government, what the FBI and the Justice Department are doing to the American people.
So that appropriations process is underway now. When will we see a bill that actually cuts back on funding for the FBI?
Speaker McCarthy and Republicans are committed to doing all 12 appropriation bills that fund the government over the next several months. I think the first one will be coming out in a couple weeks. We've been meeting with the appropriation staff, our staff on Judiciary Committee, to work on how we can limit money, American tax dollars, being used in these ways and deal with the overall budget that the FBI and the DOJ is receiving. So that'll be happening. I think the first bill we're going to pass, first of those 12 appropriation bills, will be the week after we get back from the Memorial Day recess.
But can you really change a culture when you've got the same leadership in place? I mean, let's face it, under Jim Comey or under Christopher Wray, the FBI pursued FISA warrants against Trump officials because they did not like Trump. We read it all in the Durham report, how they just abandoned all standards and practices. And then they hid the Hunter Biden laptop. They sat on it while President Trump was getting impeached about Ukraine. Then they told us COVID-19 did, we wanted to know if China actually was cooperating. They weren't. I mean, it's over and over again. Can you make a difference with Christopher Wray still in place leading the FBI?
Yeah, and again, I think the key is the money. But look, the first step is to make sure the country fully understands it. That's why the Durham report, I think, is so helpful. You mentioned what went on back when in the Comey FBI. I don't think a whole lot has changed. Remember what they did? They took a dossier that they knew was false, and that became the basis to go get a warrant to spy on a presidential campaign and to spy on American citizens. I mean, you can't do that in this country. They actually paid a guy, Mr. Danchenko, who just a few years before that, they had investigated for espionage. He was trying to pay people for classified information, and yet the FBI 6 years later turns around and pays him as part of their investigation into President Trump. You can't make this stuff up. So you point the facts out, you propose legislation to fix it, and the key thing for us, FISA reauthorization is coming up at the end of this year. There is no way we're going to support reauthorizing FISA in its current form. No possible way. I think every single Republican on the Judiciary Committee is committed to fundamental change in how that process works. And this report that came out this week from Mr. Durham, coupled with the news accounts of the 278,000 times the FBI abused Americans' rights who were simply exercising their First Amendment liberties and searched this database on Americans, including a congressional campaign, for goodness sake. That has to fundamentally change, and we are committed to making that happen this Congress. So the FISA and the appropriations process is how you rein in this agency that targeted good men like Garrett O'Boyle, Stephen Friend, and Marcus Allen, who had the courage to come forward and testify this week and tell the American people what's going on with their tax dollars in the Justice Department.
Real quick, do you want to see another investigation of Hillary and Bill Clinton? Because in the Durham report, John Durham wrote that while they were pursuing Trump, they made no effort to investigate the claim that Hillary Clinton was taking money from foreigners for her Clinton Global Initiative and the Clinton Foundation.
They not only did investigate her like they did President Trump, they gave her campaign a defensive briefing.
Right.
They should have done the same for President Trump because they literally had no evidence. So we're going to talk with our lawyers. We're going to talk with Speaker McCarthy on where we proceed from here. In fact, are there people that were highlighted in the Durham investigation and the Durham report that we need to talk to on the Judiciary Committee? We're going to give that a good hard look. But nothing is off the table because it is critical the American people understand how their government, their agencies have been turned on them, the taxpayer, and we get all the facts out there.
Mr. Chairman, good to have you this morning. Thanks very much. We'll be watching. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Congressman Jim Jordan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.